Oh, hi! It's you! I'm so glad to see you, and you're just in time! Come on in! Hey, wait a minute. What's that smell? Have you just been watching Bear in the Big Blue House VHS tapes downstairs in the basement? Because you smell like you've been watching Bear in the Big Blue House VHS tape. Because
No, you should just use that take.
Just do it. Just go. It's fine.
Or maybe you just smell this good all the time. Hi, welcome to Bear in the Big Blue podcast. Hi, welcome to Bear in... Oh, God, I'm... Jadzia Dax, save me now. But, hi, welcome to Bear in the Big Blue podcast, brought to you by toughpigs.com. This is the podcast where a lifelong Bear in the Big Blue House fan, me, Becca Petunia, is joined by...
Me, Joe Hennis, who's watching Bear in the Big Blue House for the very first time.
The very first time.
I don't get it.
The Winterberry first time.
Ah, there it is.
So, we've been watching through the show because, again, I'm a huge fan of Bear. Joe is watching for the first time. And also, we've got to get ready for our long winter's nap and for the Feast of the Winter Berry. And, well, we've come to the end of another one because, folks, this is the last episode of this little mini-series of Bear in the Big Blue podcast. Because we are talking about A Berry Bear Christmas, part 1 and 2, which are episodes 325 and 326. And joining us, I'm getting that feeling again. Yeah, it's an itchin', a scritchin', a twitchin', a scratchin'. It's time for Anthony Strand of toughpigs.com.
Ooh la la. We're doing the bear cha-cha-cha. I'm so excited. Hi, Becca. Hi, Joe. Thanks.
You gotta do the Anthony cha-cha-cha.
Yeah.
The Anthony cha-cha-cha is just to like move my head back and forth like this.
Yeah, that's your signature move. You're always doing that.
I'm always doing it. You have no idea.
I'm so glad you could join us from your VHS tape basement because
It's true.
I gotta tell everybody, if you don't know the downstairs Muppet Babies joke, which has shown up occasionally on Tough Pigs Things, definitely on Moving Right Along, which, Anthony, who hosts Moving Right Along?
Why, our pal Ryan Rowe and myself
That's true.
co-host Moving Right Along.
But Anthony loves watching VHS tapes in the basement with his family, and Anthony owns A Berry Bear Christmas on VHS tape.
Yes.
You own the last surviving copy.
Wait, I'm gonna go grab it. I should have it with me. I'm gonna go show you guys.
This is really important that you have
Alright.
the prop in your hand
Yeah, it's
for
important.
a podcast. Yeah, everyone can tell whether or not you
Here's
have
a
it or
prop. Here's a prop I have of Rizzo. Here's a broken Gem and the Holograms Christmas ornament that I've been meaning to glue back together, but it's been a little tricky, so it's just sitting on my desk. And I figured out...
Here's a pin that I bought for Sarah that says charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent.
That's pretty good.
I don't know if we can say that on a podcast, though.
To say what?
Don't worry about it. You'll hear it when you listen to the final episode.
Okay. Here's my tape of Bear in the Big Blue House, A Berry Bear Christmas, parts 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
Can confirm that is what Anthony is holding in his hand.
Which I watched earlier today. And here's what's weird about this tape, if I can get real in the weeds. This thing was recorded in SLP mode, which is like the version where you could record 6 hours on a tape so it looked like mud. This is a professionally released tape that is, instead of SP like you would expect, it's SLP or EP mode, and it looks on a 70-inch TV VCR hooked up to it. Whoo, buddy, it does not look great.
Let me tell you guys. So, folks at home, if you don't know, episode 325, A Berry Bear Christmas, is on Disney Plus. Episode 326, A Berry Bear Christmas Part 2, is not on Disney Plus.
It's actually called A Berry Bear Christmas Folie à Deux.
We're a little, earlier we released the first episode and someone said that I was bringing Tough Pigs podcasts to a new height. And I think today is the day I bring Tough Pigs podcast to a new low.
That's what happens when you invite the Strand Man on.
I didn't even fully introduce you, but we're getting into VHS talk because right now in my house, I only have 2 VHS tapes. One is More Muppets, Please, and the other is a copy of Kermit's Swamp Years on VHS that Gav gave me.
Kermit's Swamp Years might have some of the same previews as this, because this is 2002, and it's Columbia TriStar.
Well, I'm sure Becca would check her VHS copy, but it's probably holding up a table just at the perfect level right now,
No. It is prominently displayed on one of the shelves in my office. But I don't own Bear in the Big Blue House, Berry Bear. Boy, is everybody enjoying this episode yet? I don't own Bear in the Big Blue House, A Berry Bear Christmas on VHS. So we had to watch part 2 on Internet Archive. And some of the things on Internet Archive, especially those uploaded by our friend Garrett Gilchrist, are uploaded beautifully, restored, these gorgeous, gorgeous things. I know he just finished a different version of John Denver and the Muppets: A Christmas Together that's restored better than ever before. Berry Bear Christmas was not that. It was a muddy recording from Playhouse Disney. They advertised Roly Poly Oly at the end. Imagine a world where everything is round and robotic. And I was like, yes, I was 6 at the time. I could imagine that world.
Do you want to know what previews are on the tape?
Anthony, let me introduce you first. So Anthony is a longtime pal of Tough Pigs. Like Anthony said, Anthony hosts the Moving Right Along podcast for toughpigs.com. And Anthony, before you tell me the VHS previews that I might see if I watch Gav's copy of Kermit's Swamp Years, why don't you tell us about your history with Bear in the Big Blue House? Because much like Joe, you were older than 6 years old when this show premiered.
Yes, but I'm a few years younger than Joe. So I was about 12 and a half when the show premiered. I was starting 7th grade, right? It's fall 97?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm starting 7th grade, and I didn't really start watching it until probably the next school year. I feel like it had been on for a little while. I have a brother who's 5 years younger than me. So he's like 8 at this time. And he really loved the show, which was my excuse to watch it. But the thing about me is that, like, on your first episode, Joe, you were talking about how there's that age where you're like too cool for Muppets. Yep. And for me, at least, 8th grade was not yet that age, because I was trying so hard to love every Muppet thing still. This was the age where I'm like, Muppets Tonight is the greatest TV show ever made. And Bear in the Big Blue House, I watched it. I loved it. My brother and I watched it all the time. I know you talked about the Toileteers episode when you got to go on a previous episode.
Mm-hmm.
And when
Yes,
when my nephew Oli was starting to be potty trained, my brother Benjamin was like, I can't believe that I'm pulling up this episode to show it to him. Like my son.
Quick question. Your nephew Oli.
Yeah.
Round and robotic?
No. He is round. He has a big old noggin. But it's spelled differently. It's OLE. It's not
Okay.
OLIE like Roly Poly Oly. A connection I've never made, and if I had to guess,
I promise you I wouldn't have made it if I hadn't just made a joke about Roly
Right.
Poly Oly.
Right. But anyways, when I was a freshman in high school, we had to do a persuasive speech on a topic, and I chose why you should watch Bear in the Big Blue House as my persuasive speech topic, and I delivered this to a room full of my peers. So that's what I was like.
Did you successfully indoctrinate any of them? Do you
I
think?
mean, my friend Jason already liked it.
Well,
But
that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like were you so good at persuasive speaking that there was one kid in there who was like, "Wow, I
the
gotta go check this thing
the
Anthony
out."
true
Anthony is like the purple man, but only for Bear in the Big Blue House. So you might call him the Purple Otter.
I don't know what the purple man is.
That's David Tennant's character in Jessica Jones.
Oh, a TV show I've never seen.
Yeah,
Cool.
well,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
he's
I
also
saw
in the
the I read
comics you
the
haven't
He's
read.
also
No, I did.
he's also a
I
comic book
read
character,
Alias
right?
the whole I read the original run of Alias, but he's only in that last arc. I don't
It's
think I
true.
don't yeah, I don't think about him when I think about that comic, you know. Um it's like Case of the Week stuff.
It's too bad because that's what this podcast is
I
about.
didn't watch the show because I heard it. They didn't do Cases of the Week. I don't want to watch a show about a detective where she doesn't solve cases. All right,
Well, how would you feel if Bear in the Big Blue House solved a case every week?
Bear in the Big Blue House is very episodic.
No, I'm saying,
Bear
what if
does-
he was literally a detective?
Bear does solve cases every week. It's like what if
What if
Ojo
the Big
doesn't-
Blue House was in
what
the little town from Murder, She Wrote?
That'd be good. I would watch that.
I can't believe we started the season so good.
Do you want me to leave and you guys can just do this without me?
No, it's
No,
okay.
absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
The other thing I was going to say about my history with Bear in the Big Blue House is that I could only find an episode list online. I was a real episode guide head. My brother Derek used to make fun of me for printing episode guides out and putting them in binders. And I could only find an episode list for Bear. So I decided that I needed to write the episode guide myself. But
Whoa.
the only way I knew how to do this was that when an episode would come on, I would just like write a description. And so
Wow.
I got through like 10 of them because it was just like that's not feasible when you're in school, you know?
Right, yeah.
I couldn't
That's
Yeah,
that's
so anyway-
fascinating. Yeah.
Well, we
That's
talked.
like what
Yeah,
Danny Horn was doing on in Muppet Zine back in the 90s, where
Yeah,
it was
for
like
sure.
in those like basically setting the stage for what the Muppet Wiki would be and just saying like, I don't know, no one's ever like written this down before. So I guess I should watch these episodes of these TV shows and like list them out in order of production.
right.
We
Yeah.
talked about how Bear information was so hard to come by on the internet at this time that this was how I found Tough Pigs in the first place.
Right, because Danny
Was
wrote all those
searching
articles. Yeah.
was searching for Bear information, and Danny happened to be writing a lot of Bear articles at the time because it's what was on TV.
Right. And then the other part of my history with Bear that applies to this episode is that I bought the soundtrack. I bought Bear in the Big Blue House Holiday Favorites on iTunes like 15 years ago or more. And I have that burned on a CD with the Phineas and Ferb Christmas album. And we listen to this in the car all the time, every Christmas season, many, many times. And so the soundtrack to this, plus like a few Thanksgiving songs, Halloween songs, that's my kids' primary experience with Bear in the Big Blue House. Like for sure. You know?
This is a great soundtrack. Like
It is. It rules.
I owned the other two Bear soundtracks because there
Sure.
was songs from Bear in the Big Blue House, which I
Yeah,
had
and
on cassette.
We have that one too. On
It's
CD.
still on cassette in my office.
It's right by
um,
Psyduck.
Yeah, well, I'm pointing at Psyduck. He's different. Folks at home,
It's podcasts, everybody.
there's a giant Psyduck
Mhm.
behind me. That's just the way that I live my life. And I owned the second one, which was more songs from Bear in the Big Blue House, but I never owned this one. And after watching it today, I gotta find myself a copy of Bear's Holiday Celebration from Jim Henson's Bear in the Big Blue House. 20 favorite Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas songs.
hmm
What a catchy title. Really pithy.
A few of I'll warn you. A few of them are just about snow.
Yeah, I'm looking right now at the track list. They also have some of the ones that are just about bats, which is not actually.
I'm Benny the Bat, and I like it like that. Yeah, it rules.
Yeah,
Jim Krupa, isn't it? I think it is.
Jim Krupa does play Benny the Bat.
And he played Batley, didn't he?
I believe he did.
Yeah, it's all bats all the time at the Krupa house.
Anyway, so Anthony, before we get into talking about A Berry Bear Christmas Part 1 and 2, And just kind of again, our thoughts on it. We don't really go play by play, scene by
Mhm.
scene in this podcast. We talk about our thoughts overall, but this is basically just one episode, so I think it's a lot easier to even just go play by play a little more for. But Anthony, why don't you tell us what previews come before this on your SLP VHS tape of Bear in the Big Blue House, A Berry Bear Christmas, Part 1 and 2?
All right, so there were three previews.
Mhm.
First one is Thomas and the Magic Railroad, the Thomas the Tank Engine movie with Alec Baldwin as Mr. Conductor.
Was that, yeah, that one was the theatrical one, correct?
Theatrical movie, Mara Wilson's last film as a child actress. And Jim Cummings narrates that trailer, so great to hear him, as always. And then the second one is The Trumpet of the Swan animated movie, like the E.B. White novel,
I didn't
which
know that existed,
I have never
and
heard
I
of
was a
it.
kid at this point.
Right. I've never heard of it outside of this VHS tape. It is like the only. But here's the thing. At the start, it says, with the voices of Jason Alexander, Reese Witherspoon, Mary Steenburgen, Seth Green, with Carol Burnett and Joe Mantegna, and music by Little Richard.
So,
So-
do you think that this is like a Grindhouse situation where they're like giving you fake trailers with the hopes that maybe someday they'll make real movies out of them?
I mean, it might be. I hope so.
Is this
E.B.
a
White's
machete?
E.B. White's Trumpet of the Swan. We like that's what they were hoping for. That was
Yeah.
their
Yeah.
number one wish
Yeah.
list.
This is like a real machete situation, right? Or
Right.
or
I mean,
or
it
hobo with a
probably-
shotgun.
right? Or Thanksgiving. Wasn't that one of them? And that's a
Oh
movie.
yeah, Thanksgiving. Yeah. Yeah.
But it says Wikipedia says it's directed by Richard Rich, who directed The Swan Princess. So he's just a swan boy.
Wasn't Richard Rich the guy who was he had his family's fortune hidden in the Mount Rushmore?
Yes,
Yeah, Richard Rich had like a McDonald's inside his house.
he did.
That's right. He did
a-
have McDonald's in
he
his
had a
house.
and his butler doesn't know that the runs in baseball are called runs because he asked him how many points he scored. That's the main thing I remember from the Richie Rich movie.
I think each of us just said the one thing we remember. from
Yeah,
the Richard Rich
exactly.
movie.
Well, I also remember that Macaulay was getting old, so all the adults are like 6'5". It's John Larroquette, Edward Herman, like they're all so tall.
What's the third trailer, Anthony?
Uh, the third trailer is the PBS cartoon Dragon Tales.
Great.
There you go. Yep.
That was a Sesame Workshop joint
Absolutely.
connection to
Yeah.
nothing that we usually talk about on these podcasts.
Yeah, and that's why Zach and Wheezy are just as important to the Henson legacy as Bear in the Big Blue House. Anyway, the point is, I have mixed feelings about this holiday special, but honestly, those mixed feelings are basically 90% positive.
Sure.
And I think, and I've written about this on toughpigs.com, I think the entire first half is perfect. I think the entire first half is one of the best Muppet Christmas things. I think it's very sweet. It's very cute. It has a great message. The music is really good. There's some good jokes in it. I find the second half, what makes the second half not perfect to me is that it is a lot worse than the first half.
Sure.
Like, I feel like I would like it more if I didn't have the first half to compare it to.
Can you use better words to explain what was not as good about it, in your opinion?
You expect me to use better words? Me, a writer and podcaster? You want me to
Yes.
describe something?
Yes.
Yeah. I do.
I liked it because it was good. I didn't like that one because it was less good.
Look, I
Point.
already work in an elementary school.
Okay, so I think my point is like, I feel like, and what I wrote in this article on toughpigs.com is that I feel like the first episode tells a complete story. And I think the second episode adds a conclusion to that story that you don't necessarily need. and trades in a lot of the warmth and heart of the first half for a lot of silliness that I don't think fits as well with the sort of vibes I would expect from a Bear holiday special. But also it's fun and all of my friends are there. So I don't have a, you know, I don't think it's awful, but I just feel like you can watch episode 325 on its own and it would still be a really good Christmas special. Whereas if you watched episode 326 on its own, it would be a fine Christmas special.
So I kind of want to bounce off that a little bit because the big thing that I took from this two-part special is I was thinking about the way that the whole thing wrapped up at the end. I know I'm jumping straight to the end of this thing here, but when Bear's kind of giving his summary of what happened to Luna, he talks mostly about like, oh, well, it's really great that there's all these different types of animals that are in this house and we can all get together. Wouldn't it be nice if we could all end war with that concept in Fraggle Rock style, you know?
Yeah.
And I was thinking that isn't what this was about at all. And not that it's bad that he made that comment, but it made me think, well, what was this about? Well, okay, it was a little bit about a homeless dog, and it was a little bit about everyone wants a present and doesn't know how to give something to Bear, and there was all these little subplots that none of them really were like fleshed out enough to make a whole story. And the funny thing about that is like I might be complaining about that now, but it's the thing that I love most about Muppet Family Christmas, which is as we all I think would agree, a perfect Christmas special.
It's the greatest thing the Muppets have ever made. Yes. Go on.
Right, yeah. I mean it's
I
certainly up
think it
there
goes
for me.
I think it goes Elmo Says Boo,
Mhm.
Brats of the Lost Nebula,
Uh-huh.
Muppet Family Christmas,
And then Dragon
You would,
Tales.
Dragon Tales.
Becca, I'm going to remind you. You and I wrote a review of the first three episodes of Brats of the Lost Nebula, and we both hated it. And you've never finished the series,
I
correct?
sure haven't.
Like, amazing.
Y'all, you gotta do a podcast about that to finish it up. Anyway,
I'm never watching that show again.
yeah, don't do that. No one will listen to that podcast.
No one would listen to that now.
But my point really here is like I felt like they didn't commit enough to any of these storylines to really get me like really invested. And I think the storyline that did feel the most important, which is the one about the homeless dog, was wrapped up so quickly and in a way that like, God, do I have questions? You know, like
Oh, I have
this
so
dog.
many questions about that homeless
Yeah,
dog. But I feel
yeah.
like that's what I'm saying because if you just look at episode one, if you just look at the first half of this, it is a little more focused on the idea that the kids are being kind of selfish. They go to Santa Hog, and I have so much to say about how much fun that Santa Hog sequence is. But they go to Santa Hog, and Pip and Pop are like, we want 100 clams, no 7 million clams, no 10.6 billion clams, or
It's
whatever
great.
it is
Yeah,
they're
it rules.
saying.
I loved that so much. I
So
can't
good.
even tell you. I had a big stupid grin on my face
The
that
kids are
whole
And
being
thing with Pip and Pop.
the kids are being selfish, and then they meet
Shellfish
someone
because they're asking for clams.
shellfish because they're asking for clams, and Trilo is asking for, but they the kids are being selfish, and then they meet someone who actually needs something, like doesn't just want something, but like needs something. They meet Jack the dog, and it makes them realize how lucky they are to have each other, and that the best thing that they can give someone is a home, even temporarily. And I think that is a nice self contained story that only becomes confusing when you start adding the other elements from the second episode. And I
Mhm.
think that that's maybe, once I shook out my sillies, the more eloquent way of saying what I was trying to say before is it really is, I think by putting it just, again, by just looking at the first half, in a weird way, Disney Plus has given us a rare blessing because
Mhm.
it does create a more cohesive thematic story in that regard. And also you don't have to figure out, not to jump to the end, but you don't have to figure out what it means that Doc Hogg has a doghouse in his backyard.
That's where he sleeps when Mrs. Hogg really
I mean,
gets angry at him.
Pip and Pop live in a pond, right? Like,
Yeah, they do.
this is fine.
Yeah.
Some animals live
Yeah.
outside and some animals live inside.
Well,
That's
no, but I think what
fine.
Becca's saying is that Doc Hogg presumably lives in a house, but he has an unused doghouse. This is like for sale, one doghouse never used. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, like it
He
does
also
raise a lot
just
of questions.
found it in his backyard. How big is Doc Hogg's backyard?
I mean, it's not that it's big; it's just messy. It's a sty.
That's a style. That's true.
I'll accept it.
Yep.
So can
Yep.
as long
Yeah,
as we're talking.
Anthony, I want to hear your thoughts overall, though, on Berry Bear Christmas.
So as I said up front, I hear the songs from this like dozens of times every single year. So I think of this as a soundtrack like way more. This is me. I mean, I've probably seen this 5 or 6 times, but like I don't watch it every year, you know? And so all of this, like my kids love the winter berry because of the song. We have a big ornament that's like a big raspberry looking thing. My kids call that the winter berry. This was not something
Right.
Roz and I invented. It was something the kids decided. Miles was running around yesterday, literally yesterday, carrying it when we were decorating the tree, yelling, "I found the winter berry."
Wow. Did he make a wish?
No, because he doesn't know anything about that because it's not on the soundtrack. Like, he's seen this, I'm sure. They didn't watch it with me just now. You know, I watched it last night after they were in bed. And so to him, there's no payoff. There's no, like, the wish. They don't know that it ends with Jack the dog getting a house, you know?
Sure. Yeah.
So I think of this as more cohesive than Becca does, probably because I just think of it as 12 songs or whatever the amount is, 10 songs.
Yeah.
And watching it again, I had read your article not too long ago, Becca. And I certainly understand your point. But on the other hand, like, for example, the carol sing moment in this, which is in the second episode.
Mm-hmm.
And I think is such a delight because it is just over a minute long. It is 64 seconds long. And they do 5 songs. They pack in 5 weird little song parody Christmas carols, right? "Oh, come all ye otters, eat some clams," whatever it is. And that's weird. Like, it's a strange thing for a TV show to do. And it makes me so happy. But to me, that's just one of those things. It's the same as the visit to Santa Hog. It's all just part of the episode,
So
in my
this is
memory.
Yeah,
really
I
making
think-
me like realize like more of the parallels between this and Muppet Family Christmas. Like
Yeah,
I would love.
carol sing.
I feel like this is a topic maybe we should turn into something else for the website. But
Yeah.
but
I'm
yeah,
into it.
yeah, with all these different storylines and yeah, do they both have a extended carol sing with
Yeah.
the characters? You have a familiar character dressed as Santa Claus.
Right? Which, by the way, Doc Hogg's Santa Claus costume looks awesome.
I think this is some of the best Doc Hogg stuff as Santa Hogg.
He's so fun in that
I
scene.
like him a lot. And Anthony, I do want to be clear, like, I'm not saying that I dislike the second
Right.
episode.
No,
Again,
no. You're doing that thing that we all do, and when I say us, I mean like nerds, where like you basically like a thing, but all you want to do is talk about the problems because it's bothering you that you don't love everything about it.
right.
Like I do that all the time too. Like we all do,
But there's
And
like
I've always said it's more fun to complain about something, so we do. Yeah, it's like let's rip it apart.
Mhm.
well, listen, the problem is that something is wrong with everything except the way I sing.
If
Yep,
there's nothing
there it
wrong
is.
with me, there must be something wrong with the universe. All right. So,
It's the children who are wrong.
the other thing I wanted to say is if we're going to talk about Jack the dog, though, we haven't said that it's Dave Goelz yet.
Yeah.
And-
so
Yeah, which by the way, like using a voice, I feel like I've never heard him do.
Yeah,
before.
it's a new character.
So
Incredible.
it is so it feels to me, and we were watching this, my spouse, former podcast guest Eli Lee, and my sister, who will have to be on a Tough Pigs podcast eventually. We were just watching it together just before recording this, and Jack started talking, and Eli turns to me and goes, "Well, that's someone, isn't it? Like, that feels like someone important." And I was like, "Yeah, it's Dave Goelz, it's Gonzo." And what we realized is it's two things. First of all, the Dave Goelz character it sounds the most like is the elephant elevator operator from Sesame Street, from a little before this on Sesame Street. But what it really is it's Dave doing a Rolf impression.
Oh
Oh yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
It's like Dave's version of Rolf. If
Yeah, totally.
Dave
Because
were
it's a
Rolf,
little bit gruff and laid back. Oh
and
yeah,
he says a
just
lot
a
of the
hound dog
same.
doesn't have a house. Yeah.
I mean, and he makes a lot of the same
Yeah,
like folksy.
he has a joke about taking himself for a walk
I was just
in
about to
part
say
two.
he has a joke about taking himself for the walk.
But I was gonna say about Dave Goelz and being somebody important. A lot of time, like sitcoms do this all the time, right? They'll bring in like an old star of an old sitcom, right? Like Carol O'Connor on Mad About You, or Carl Reiner on Mad About You, or Carol Burnett on Mad About You, right?
I was gonna make
And
the same joke about George and Leo.
and you know that's always exciting. And what I love about this is that this is absolutely the Muppet equivalent of that. Like
Yeah.
this is all next generation performers, right? Nobody who worked on Bear in the Big Blue House worked on the Muppet Show. Nobody who worked on it worked on Fraggle Rock. And here's Dave Goelz, like a legend, one of the original 5 Muppet Show performers, showing up at the end of season 3 to play a main guest character in the Christmas special.
Yep.
And it's what a delight.
But the asterisk in this is like for the key audience, who would know?
Well, no, right,
Like
exactly.
it's not even
yeah.
like not even like he's using like a Bunsen Honeydew voice, and some kid at home is gonna be like, that sounds familiar. It's like even on Mad About You, someone might watch and be like, oh, that person kind of looks like someone from another show. Like it gets you excited for some reason that you can't quite explain. But there's no reason except for nerds like us to go, that's Dave Goelz.
I think the reason is all these guys got to play with Dave Goelz for the Christmas special. Peter and Nolan, everybody,
Yeah.
And I'm sure that was a thrill for Dave and for them. But also, he had, as Becca just mentioned, he'd been on Sesame Street a few years earlier. Dave is the only person who's in everything.
Oh wow.
He shows up for all the major Muppet. I mean, he's barely on Sesame Street, but like he's in Elmo and Grouchland. And
he did. He did 3 whole Sesame Street things. That's enough to get you on the list.
Yeah, and now here he is in Bear in the Big Blue House because he's just a guy. He's in Dark Crystal: Age of Resistance. Dave Goelz is a guy who shows up.
So
didn't see Frank Oz playing a turkey in the Thanksgiving episode of Bear in the Big Blue House.
No,
now, did you?
You didn't see Frank Oz on Fraggle Rock.
Well, no, that's true too.
Like
wow. Oh no, I had a thought and I think I lost it. Oh my God, you're gonna have to edit this out now. Well, hi Becca in the future editing this episode. Oh darn, I think I lost it.
It was about Dave though.
Yeah, it was about Dave.
I keep slouching and looking down because Rizzo's hand fell off, and I'm trying to find.
Oh, I was wondering what you were doing down there.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Do you want to take a second to look for it?
No, it's okay.
Well, I think about what I was going to say about Dave Goelz.
Well, I mean, if you're thinking, then I'll.
Yeah, give me a second.
I found it.
Sure, it was very pithy, very interesting.
Should probably
Dave
glue
Goelz,
that back on, huh?
Talking about him being in everything, talking making a cameo appearance. Oh, I know what I was going to say. So remind me what year we think this was filmed in, this episode, because
I can literally tell you what year it was filmed in. It aired December 6th, 1999, so it definitely was filmed in 99.
Okay, so that kind of screws with my theory, but I was thinking about like what were the Muppets doing at this point, because Muppets Tonight was off the air. I didn't know like where this kind of lands around Muppets from Space, but it was very possible that they were just like, look, we know that the Muppets aren't doing anything. Dave doesn't work on Sesame Street. Like he's probably just sitting at home twiddling his thumbs. What if we just hired him? What if he just showed up? And then like he does, because, if the Muppets aren't working, then Dave probably isn't working either.
Right. But no, you're right. Also, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to segue into the topic of Jack the dog being a homeless dog, an unhoused dog. And I think that's like a pretty heavy topic for the Bear in the Big Blue House Christmas special to tackle.
And I think they handle it pretty
I think
well.
I think they handle it really well. I mean,
Yeah,
considering like
especially
obviously it's
because
not
sorry, go
well,
ahead.
obviously it's not going to be the most nuanced thing in the world, but I think it is very considering the show.
The thing that really impressed me with the way they handled this is any other kids show would have had the character, the unhoused character, coming on being like, "Oh, woe is me," and like, "Oh, I just, if I could just get a home," and like maybe they have a bindle, and it would be very like this
Like
isn't really
Tutter,
what people are like.
like
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 Tutter?
Tutter has a bindle
Oh,
in
Tutter
the
in his
In
fantasy
his
in the Was
sequence.
There Was
Yes,
No
imagination.
Big Blue House song, yeah,
yes, yeah,
and a
exactly.
newsboy
And
cap.
but for Jack, like he's like, no, 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 I'm fine. No, 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 I don't need anything. No, no, don't worry about me. And like I feel like that's so much more realistic. And like, yeah, it still tugs at your heartstrings, but it's not manipulative. I don't know, it just like it felt really fresh and well thought out, and mature of like how that character
And I
was
feel
written.
like I feel like also in today's society, not that this necessarily would be done on a kid show, but in today's society, I feel like it's so easy to vilify the unhoused population, and you see a lot of politicians doing that and stuff.
Mhm.
And there's
That
no sense that it's like Jack's fault or even that necessarily it was like, yes, sometimes this happens. And Tutter's like, it's not fair. And Bear's like, it isn't fair.
right, and Bear they go out of their way to give Bear the line. They're still the same as you or me,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
which I think is great.
Now,
Like,
another interesting thing about this whole sequence is that moment right before Doc Hogg shows up, where Bear is just about to invite like another animal into his home permanently. And like I know, yeah, like the otters and Ojo, like they have their own homes or whatever, but they really don't. They all everyone lives at the Blue House. Let's be honest.
yeah,
And like Bear is their caretaker.
oh, big,
But
absolutely, 100%.
yeah, yeah, and like Bear was about to be like, "Ugh, another mouth to feed. Okay, but you got to do it." And like he was willing to do it, which is very Bear. Bear wouldn't think twice. And like I find that really interesting that like it wasn't just like, oh gee whiz, what are we gonna do? Hope for a miracle. Good luck, buddy. Because like again, any other kids show would have done that.
Yeah, right. He, yeah, I don't know. It's very well handled.
Yep.
I don't know. I got nothing to add, but I agree. I already said it.
No,
Forget
I
it.
think it's really good. And again, I think it's also bold of them to tackle this in a Christmas episode. You know what I mean? Like
Mm.
I really admire them for doing that.
Hmm. I agree. And let's see. We should probably
Can we
move on.
talk about?
Yeah.
You mentioned Tutter's little newsboy cap in his fantasy. His winter outfit is so cute. He's got the little plaid scarf and hat, and it's not like a winter hat. It's like also like a newsboy hat. Maybe it's the same one. I don't know. I couldn't tell because the fantasy is in black and white.
Right.
But like I think it's adorable, and I just like Tutter and talking about Tutter.
Muppets in
s-
winter wear, Muppets in winter wear, always good.
Always. And you know what else
Always.
is cute? You know what else is cute in this that we don't see as often? There's a scene where they're all sitting at the table drinking hot cocoa, and they all have their little mugs glued to their hand, and that is so cute.
Oh, speaking of that, let's talk about this. When Pip and Pop find the Winterberry
Hmm.
and they climb on Jack's back and they grab it, how did they grab the Winterberry? Like their arms aren't even arm rotted, like they're just like wiggly pieces of felt. And yet, whichever one's on top, I don't know if it's Pip or Pop, like literally like grabs the berry. And I don't know how they did that. And I have to assume that they're alive.
Pip and Pop are alive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you answered my question. Thank you.
Yeah. Now, we talked about Jack's homelessness being well handled, but can I ask you both a question? And feel free to tell me that this is an inappropriate question, but I have wondered it for 25 years.
I'm ready. I'm
Do they
prepared.
give Shadow the Kwanzaa song because she's black?
Okay, so Joe, this is what we were talking about before, and Anthony, this is the surprise Shadow twist
Mhm.
on Disney Plus. there is no shadow segment in episode 325.
Really
They cut it.
interesting.
Now, here's the real question. Did they cut it because Shadow is black?
So, by what I can find on Muppet Wiki, it seems that a shorter version of this episode aired on Playhouse Disney at one point to fit into the regular time slot,
Mhm.
and they needed to cut down some things for time. And the thing that they cut was Bear hanging up the reindeer wreath that the kids make, which what a great scene where Pip and Pop are like, we're gonna put some tennis balls on this wreath in case the reindeer want to have fun.
Yeah, that's
Um,
great.
I love Pip
They
and
want to play
Pop.
reindeer games
Yeah, sure.
Mhm.
or watch
Um,
the movie Reindeer Games.
They
but
love it.
it also cuts the Kwanzaa song completely. So Joe has never seen or heard the Kwanzaa song because I didn't realize what I was missing. I vaguely remembered there being a Kwanzaa song,
Sure.
but
So it's on that soundtrack, you know.
Mhm.
So I hear it every time. Both of them. She get in the second part. She gets the dreidel song too. Like,
Yeah, she gets the dreidel song.
Which also, okay, so I've mentioned this on podcasts before. I grew up Jewish. I had a Jewish
Mhm.
upbringing. I have never in my life heard the second verse of the dreidel song.
Wait, which second verse?
So there's like I had a little dreidel made out of clay. There's that one that
It
everyone
has a
knows.
lovely body with legs so short and thin. You've never heard that before?
Never in my life have I heard that.
Oh, they do that. The Bare Naked Ladies do that on Bare Naked for the Holidays.
Well, I guess they're more Jewish than me. And as you know, Anthony, I've told you this story.
Stephen
I
Page is
met one of
Jewish.
the bare naked ladies at my Jewish summer camp.
And it was Stephen Page, I imagine.
I don't know which one's which. Sure.
It's they call him the fat one, but he lost a bunch of weight like 20 years ago. The deep
I mean,
voiced
whatever it
one,
was,
the-
they were
not-
both there.
not-
I only met one of them, but they were both there at my like they did a little.
it's the one who does it. It's been 1 week since it's that guy.
Okay, I was
Not
I was
the guy who does
probably-
holy could you see the hoodwink make you stop thinking.
I was
Not
probably
that guy.
11 or 12 years old. I
Okay.
really don't remember.
Okay, hey, well, Joe, I want to show you something. All right.
Show me something, Anthony,
Yeah.
on a podcast.
Not this. Wait, this is a commercial. Wait a sec. I want
I'm
to
gonna
show you
love
something.
editing this. I'm gonna love editing all of this talk about which bare naked lady from
All right,
the
just-
band Bare Naked Ladies.
You knew who you invited.
I did. It's okay. I do
Okay,
this.
this
I do this
show.
to you when I'm on your show, so it's only fair.
It's true. Well, you do it to Ryan because Ryan edits our show.
That's fair. Ryan is the editor.
Yeah. All right, Joe, I want to show you something.
Yes, show me something. So there's one thing that's missing from that song, and that's the voice of Peter Linz interrupting between every line to say something.
It's true, and he does in the episode. He does.
Does he?
Oh, he
Yes.
does?
Yeah.
Why you turn it
And-
like Kwanzaa?
Well,
Yeah,
and
light
what's-
that candle.
I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember what it is because I'm so used to the soundtrack version. But the one that I love on that album that they do leave him in is the "What Do Shadows Do on Halloween?" And in that one, there's a part where it's like tell stories by a campfire light, and then Peter Lynn says, "There once was a scarecrow who was the greatest scarecrow of all time." And this is like a thing that I annoy my kids by saying often.
Like when they ask for a story at bedtime,
no,
and you
like
go,
what-
there
like
once
if-
was a scarecrow.
Like when we were at the pumpkin patch and we saw a scarecrow, they'll just be like, "There once was a scarecrow," and Miles will just be like, "It's not that one. He's not the greatest."
Well,
Ah.
Joe, listen. If we bring this show back next year for Halloween and Thanksgiving, we'll watch that one, and we'll watch the Thanksgiving episode, which features the greatest song about pilgrims ever recorded.
Wow,
Pil-
high
Pilgrim
bar
one,
about
yeah.
songs about pilgrims. You know,
That's-
I have a lot of favorites.
But I think what's interesting about the Kwanzaa song is they definitely make it like Kwanzaa and Hanukkah are things that have to be taught, whereas Christmas is something everybody knows. And I don't know. I mean, Bear also mentions Hanukkah and Kwanzaa in his introduction.
Right, and which is a great song, I think. A Holiday for Everyone. I love that.
Yes. I think that's a great song too. And I don't know. I guess it's fine. I know you're also just doing a joke, but like it definitely feels like and Merry and I mean and Happy Hanukkah to you, Mr. Hooper, where it's
Yep.
like we need to throw this in here. We know it's the right thing to do.
But the thing that makes it better in this case is it's not just one reference. Like I
Right.
feel like, and it, we obviously make the Happy Hanukkah, Mr. Hooper joke a lot because it's such a throwaway. But even later things like the first thing that came to mind was I think it's Elmo's World Happy Holidays maybe
Yes, correct.
that like okay, let's cut away to Baby Bear and his family. Okay, we're going to talk about the so there's a cutaway to just that one scene of Baby Bear teaching Telly how to spin the dreidel and whatever, and it's like, okay, so they got their whole segment. Like it's more than just a Happy Holidays, Mr. Hooper moment, but it's just one. And at least here in the Bear special is we've got the song, we have the reference at the beginning. I feel like there's one other reference that maybe I thought of and missed. Rather,
There's
I don't recall it off the top of my head. But it
there
feels
are a
like
lot
Hanukkah is present throughout this special, even if it's not about Hanukkah.
the other
And Kwanzaa.
reference the other reference is that there are a lot of presents that are wrapped in Hanukkah wrapping paper, and there's one scene where Tutter is standing under a menorah, which Joe leads me to my question for you as a fellow person who was raised Jewish. Who are those Hanukkah wrapped presents for?
Well,
Which of Bear's friends, which of Bear's friends are Jewish? And I've got some theories that some of which you can't answer. I have one that I'm almost confident you can't answer, but I'm confident I'm right. But I'm curious about any of your thoughts. Anthony, you can't participate in this.
No, I understand.
so well, here's my first thought: is Bear probably just got the cheapest wrapping paper because he's a bear on a budget, and the other animals in the house are not. They don't care. They're just ripping up the paper. They don't care what's on it. But if are we talking about like the all the characters I met so far, or are we saying just the
Nope.
characters in the Big Blue House?
They're all there.
Okay, well,
I guess Jeremiah is not in this.
Jeremiah
But
is not in this.
No, he's
Uh,
not.
uh, I would say Tutter is the most Jewish coded of any of them because he is neurotic.
yes, that was something that Allie and Eli were talking about because Tutter is neurotic, and also there was that joke on Twitter about how all blue Muppets are Jewish
Yep.
um a while ago, and Tutter is blue. But I mean, I think the obvious answer that Joe can't answer is that it's Harry the Duck, who is
Sure.
there but doesn't have a speaking line. But he and his grandma are in that scene in the opening theme song alongside Pip and Pop's grandparents, Etta and Otto, and Pip and Pop's cousin Tally. Um, Tally
I
loves
look
Pip.
forward to meeting this Jewish duck.
But
It sounds
Harry,
delicious.
so Harry is voiced by is voiced. Harry is performed by Eric Jacobson, an early Eric Jacobson role.
And
Bef
and one of his few original characters that
it's
he's ever
true.
gotten to play in his career, like prominently. Yeah.
Which, by the way, not to segue this, but speaking of original Eric Jacobson characters, the mole that he played in one episode of Muppets Now, that puppet was in that opening sequence in this special.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah,
Awesome.
just
Um,
had to tie that little bow on
but
this
I know, and
podcast.
I completely forgot about Muppets Now.
Yep, as well you should.
I can remember every episode of Bear in the Big Blue House, but if you asked me anything that happened in Muppets Now, I would say Pepe was there.
Well, you got to know the mole. The mole is the best part.
But Harry has a grandmother who we see who speaks with a thick Russian accent and has like
Mm.
traditional Russian clothing on. And I think that it means that Harry is Jewish. So I think
I,
all of those presents are for Harry.
I'm gonna throw one more out there. One more possibility. Is Trilo speaking Yiddish? Is that what that is?
I think that's it. I think Trilo is Jewish.
Let's leave the silence in the podcast. Just kidding. Edit this
And
out,
Joe,
please.
did you
That
notice
was mean.
we mentioned briefly in our last episode that you'd be seeing Dikembe the Gemsbach during the Santa Hog number.
Your favorite.
Next to the reindeer, there is also an antelope in one scene who is only in one of the choruses and isn't there in the other one. I don't know why there is an antelope in one chorus, but not the second chorus.
I didn't even know that's what was the name of the animal?
A gemsbach. It's a type
Gemsbach?
of antelope. It's a type
I mean,
sounds
I
like
figured
you
that out
weren't
from
a
the
Zoo
context.
Books kid like me.
I absolutely was not a Zoo Books kid. I love the commercials. But yes, I could not have, if you could have paid me money and I would not have been able to tell you what that thing was or whether or not it appeared in puppet form on this television program.
Yeah, well, we'll have to do a Jim Henson's The Animal Show with Stinky and Jake podcast at one point.
Gladly.
A show where Dave Goelz played one of the leads because he's in
It's
everything.
true.
And Dave Goelz was one of the puppets.
Also true.
That's true. But you guys know what you know. Hey, go ahead. It's your show.
No, Anthony. I want to hear what you have to say. You're the guest. Everybody gets to hear me all the time.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? There was another. Now I've forgotten. Oh, so in the second episode,
No.
another thing that I really like in this is the sequence where they all get their presents in the second ep, and Pip and Pop get a robot clam from Mars. Are we just gonna ignore that?
I love the fact that they're just like, okay, there's no thank you. There's no like, whoa, what a great gift. They're just like, robot clam from Mars. Okay, that's fine.
And then Tutter.
We wanted real clam.
Tutter gets a book. They did. They want to eat them. They can't eat that. They open up their present and say, "You can't eat this," and throw it at Bear.
Right, and then Tutter gets a book about cheese, and he can't eat that.
He can't eat, but he loves it because Tutter is a nerd. But also, I
Which
wanted
is
to say,
interesting because there's one episode earlier, I think in season 2, where it's revealed that Tutter hates books.
Yeah, but he probably learns to appreciate them by the end.
Yeah, he does because sometimes books are about cheese. So I guess I proved myself wrong.
No, he loves
it's
them.
called continuity, Becca. Maybe you heard of it.
I should have. My wife Roz has a book called The World Cheese Book. And every time we buy a new kind of cheese, we look it up in the book to see if it's in there. So Tutter and my wife are the same person.
Obviously. Is this also the scene where Tutter is, I'm sorry, I'm going to get this wrong. Like, Tutter, is he reading his book and someone's like, you sure know a lot about cheese? And he's like, I dabble.
Yeah. It's Ojo. It's him and Ojo are looking at the book. It's great.
Yeah. I love that. I dabble. What a great line. It's delivered so well. Good job, Peter Linz.
I still think I like Ojo more when she's with Tutter because I think Ojo and Tutter as foils for each other makes me appreciate Ojo a little more. Because I do agree with Joe from the first episode that Ojo is almost a little too normal compared to a lot of the other characters on the show.
Well, I think that's in the first episode. Joe talked about how often a character will just be like a kid, but I think that is more of a problem in a show like this where she's the Smurfette, right? Where she's the girl one. Everyone else is a boy, and they get distinctive personalities. And even like, I don't know if you've gotten into this, the Boys Will Be Boys song and the You Go Girl song.
We have not gotten to. I wanted to watch those 2 episodes. They were actually on my original draft. There's a Boys Will Be Boys and Girls Will Be Girls episodes. Right. 2-parter.
And so those are both on that first soundtrack album that you mentioned. So I've heard those a million times. And the Boys Will Be Boys song is like playing in the mud, getting dirty, swinging umbrellas around or whatever, and the
Swinging
girls.
umbrellas around.
There's some line
Singing in the
about
rain.
there's some line about umbrellas, isn't there, Becca?
Hold on.
Am I misremembering?
Yeah, well, there is, but
It's because they rhyme it with the fellas.
Pip goes, excuse me, Pop goes, one of them goes hanging out with a bunch of fellas, and then everybody on the cast sings in unison, "In a storm with no umbrellas,
Yeah,
boys will be boys."
That's what it is. But so that's all about like running outside, scuffing up your knees, picking your nose, and then they don't say picking nose, and they don't say Mount Pick a Nose, and then the Ojo one, the "You Go Girl" song is just like, "You go Ojo, you can do whatever you want. Girls can be whoever they want," and that's the premise of the
Is
song.
she singing the song by herself?
No, it's like Bear being like, "You
How
go,
sad
girl."
would that be?
Yeah, you go,
Okay.
Ojo. Be the girl you wanna be and do what you want to, right? But so it's just like boys do specific things and girls can contain multitudes. You know, because she needs to be the only one.
It's interesting.
And that's on a well-meaning show, you know, like for sure.
It absolutely is interesting, and we'll talk about that if we do a season 2. If people like this and we do a season 2, and response has been good so far, so maybe we'll do a season 2. I'd love to talk about those episodes because there's also a very notable cameo in the Boys Will Be Boys episode.
Is it Dave Gold?
No, a cameo of an old puppet.
Ugh. Is it the Dave Gold
Is it
puppet?
Dave the Human?
No. I don't want to spoil it for Joe.
No, don't spoil it. Don't spoil it. I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
Oh, another thing I meant to bring up. The Doc Hogg sequence we talked about, the Santa Hog. But I feel like you know better than me, Becca. Is that the first time we ever leave the grounds of the Big Blue House to go to Woodland Valley Mall to see Doc Santa Hog?
It's not the first time because we go to Doc Hogg's doctor's office at
Oh,
least
sure,
once.
of course. Yeah.
At least once, but it is and it is a harbinger of how one episode from now, or 2 episodes from now, we will be in season 4, Becca's least favorite season of Bear in the Big Blue House.
Well, it's the Around the Corner season.
Yeah, I still haven't watched every episode from season 4. Again, I know this show like the back of my hand. I know this show like the back of Charles Dickens' hand, but
Sure.
I truly do not know season 4.
Wait, No, go ahead.
I lose interest in it when it becomes less self-contained.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's really, I mean, I've said Around the Corner, but Joe, this one's for you. It's the Goliath Chronicles of.
Oh, excuse me, Anthony. I rewatched Gargoyles last year.
Radical.
And I gave up about 3/4 of the way through the Goliath Chronicles because I was like, I am not enjoying this new direction the show is taking.
Yeah, and it's the same, right? It's like it's basically the same show, but it just doesn't feel right.
Okay, but like, what if Lexington lived in the Big Blue House? What would that be like?
Yeah, it'd be cool.
I think he does, and his name is Benny the Bat, and he's got a song that goes, Anthony.
I'm Benny the Bat, and I like it like that. Something to cool you, see. Bats are cool. They're nobody's fool. I remember that one. No, guys, what if Bronx didn't have a house and he moved in with Doc Hogg?
Do we have anything else to say about these Christmas episodes, or do we just have to talk about the Goliath Chronicles?
I think I said everything important, you know.
You know, I own the Gargoyles board game.
So do I. Me and Joe almost played it last time he was over here.
So I had
we planned on it. We didn't get around to it.
I had a bunch of friends over to play the Gargoyles board game over the summer, actually. And let me tell you something. I didn't enjoy it.
It seems way too complicated.
That's not even the problem, because I eat complicated board games for breakfast.
Sure.
It's just complicated with very little payoff.
Sure.
But any other thoughts on these Christmas episodes of Bear in the Big Blue House?
I have
I
one. I let
think I'm
go
good.
ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Anthony. No, I
I
got
have
nothing.
one, which is that I really enjoy that they all want more eggnog. When Bear says, "Guess what
Yeah,
time it is?"
is that a reference? Like, are they drinking? Are they day drinking?
Well, I think they're just you don't eggnog doesn't need to have booze added to it. You buy
No,
eggnog at
I
the
know that, and
store.
that's why it passed the censors. But is that
Yeah.
actually? Do you think that's a reference
I do
when they're
not.
like more eggnog?
I do not think Tutter and Ojo are secretly drinking eggnog with rum in
No,
it.
I guess what I'm really asking is Mitchell Kriegman like, hey, let's slip in a little reference in there, a little joke in there for the
Yeah, maybe.
adults.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, yeah, right.
I mean, listen. Mitchell Kriegman is quite a wild card.
Hey, and you know what? It's fine. It's not. I'm not saying it's an inappropriate joke. I'm just curious if that was the intention.
Sure.
Mitchell,
I don't
if
know.
you're listening,
It's fine. It's fine, Mitchell.
it's fine.
Yeah, don't sweat about it.
So I want to thank both of you for being on this episode. I want to thank Joe especially for coming with me on this weird and wild journey through Bear in the Big Blue House. Joe, now that you have watched 11 episodes of Bear in the Big Blue House plus the unaired pilot, what are you thinking?
So yeah, I've been putting a lot of thought into this because it's so exciting for me to get to watch like essentially what is a Muppet program that I've never seen before because that's so rare for people like us. So we've seen everything, and to get to like dive into something new at this point in my career as a Muppet blogger, it's just such a joy. Uh, for the quality of the show, I think it's great. I think it's fun. I'm invested in the characters. I think like I get the way it's written. I think it works for what they're going for. The music is great. I can go on and on about what I love about it. The one thing that's kind of giving me a little bit of a pause, I guess, is because of the intended demographic, and it doesn't have that. I mean, we talked a little bit about this in the first episode, but like because it doesn't have that second layer to to make it overly enjoyable for adults. It doesn't feel like the kind of show that I just want to have on in the background to watch, to catch up on, to say that I've watched every episode of Bear. I'm very happy that I've been introduced to the world of Bear, but I don't think I need to watch 96 episodes. I don't know if that's how many
117.
episodes there are. Whoa!
117.
Almost as many as the Muppet Show. And if you count Breakfast with Bear, more.
Non-canonical. It's non-canonical.
But if you're counting Breakfast with Bear, then you're counting Muppets Tonight,
Okay,
right?
fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, right. That's what I always say. What I do think that I said this to Joe earlier today. This to me feels like out of everything post Jim's death, this has the closest to being like the classic Muppet feel. Like it's a group of characters I love seeing. They're just fun to watch exist in a way that the Sesame and Muppet Show and Fraggle Rock characters are. And in a way that like Stinky and Jake are not, or the Hoobs are not, or whatever. You're laughing, but because it's true.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
also laughing because I've never seen an episode of The Hoops.
I agree.
I'm like, I don't know. I assume you're right.
It's bad.
Anthony, I agree completely. And I think if there's post Jim Henson projects that evoke family, I think that this is definitely at the top, tied with Brats of the Lost Nebula.
Zadim and Tripley, your favorite
Their
family.
family. But
Uh-huh.
no, I agree. I mean, again, I love this show so much, and it's
Mhm.
it's always a pleasure to talk about it with anybody, especially with my Tough Pigs friends, and especially with you guys at home. And again, I hope everybody has a very, very happy holiday, whatever holiday you celebrate. Make sure to take care of each other. The message of the Bear in the Big Blue House holiday special is important, especially this time of year. See if there's any way you can help out people in your community.
I would also, sorry, I would also love to I want to thank everybody one more time for joining us for this mini series. It was a blast. Thank you, Becca, for hosting this thing and for introducing me to the world of the Big Blue House. I would love to hear from everybody what they thought of this, and what, and if we were to do more episodes of this podcast, what they'd love to hear us talk about, episodes they want us to cover, special guests they'd love us for us to bring in. And I want to remind you, because you're listening to this podcast on the Muppet Fan Podcast with toughpigs.com channel, that means that there's going to be another podcast coming on this channel very soon. So I hope that you will subscribe and listen to whatever it is that's coming up within the next few weeks.
And I've got some big ideas for podcasts. I really do. Here's hoping that 2025 sees one of them come to light.
Great. I can't wait. Let me say, as a listener of this show, before the previous episodes, I've only heard the pilot because it just came out. I loved it. I'm so glad you both did it. I think it was such a great idea. Thank you for having me on. But I can't let 4 episodes pass without mentioning Becca's greatest idea, Becca's greatest realization, which is
Oh my God, Anthony, thank you. I know exactly
what am I going to say,
you're gonna
Becca?
say.
You say it. You say it. It's your idea.
No. I want you to say it.
Okay, which is that any lyrics by the band Modest Mouse can be said in a Tutter voice and make sense, right? Out of gas road, out of beer, out of gas beer, out of road beer, out of car, I don't know how I'm gonna go beer, or whatever.
I think about not just this thing that I came up with, but specifically Anthony's choice of using the song Out of Gas by Modest Mouse. I think about that literally once a day. I hear Tutter's voice saying "out of gas bear, out of road bear."
That's the anxious one I think of, and the cheerful one I always think of is shoot, what was it?
You wasted life, bear. Why wouldn't you waste the afterlife, bear?
Right. It was gonna be Ice Age, Heat Wave, can't complain. I can't complain, bear. Like, just, and it's so true. It's so funny because they have mouse in their name, and it's also true. So thank you.
The world's at large, bear. Why should I complain? The world's large. Anthony, where can people find you online if you wish to be found?
You can follow me on Blue Sky at Durwood Clapper. You can follow me on Letterboxd at Zeppo Marxist. And of course, you can listen to Moving Right Along, a Muppet movie podcast brought to you by toughpigs.com. And we are almost done with Muppet Treasure Island. It has been quite a ride. Much like the journey of the Hispaniola, it has been long and not that interesting. But I hope that you will listen to our next season, which will hopefully be better.
Well, it's great because the next season, Muppets from Space, brings us to 1999, the year we're wrapping up with a Berry Bear Christmas.
That's right.
And Joe, where can people find you?
You can find me on Letterboxd at Tough Pigs Joe. You can also subscribe to my Substack at Joe Consumes Media. And you could find me hanging around all the other Tough Pigs related things that Becca's going to tell you about in just a moment.
Yeah. So you can find me on social media, mostly Blue Sky, a little bit on Instagram at Tall Girl Petunia. Or you can find me writing for toughpigs.com. Check out toughpigs.com, both at that link and on all social media at Tough Pigs, for all sorts of fun updates related to the Muppets. We have a ton of podcasts coming out. We're celebrating the Muppets' 70th anniversary all year in 2025, so stay tuned for some of that. All sorts of great stuff coming. You can also find me on the Tough Pigs Discord, which I help run. It's a great place where everybody is talking all about the Muppets. We're talking about Bear. We're talking about Fozzie Bear. We're talking about
Baby Bear.
Baby Bear. We're talking
Bobo
about
the Bear.
Bobo the Bear.
We're talking about
Flo
the honey pot dance.
The honey pot dance. So you can check us out there, or you can support us on Patreon, or you can support us by buying a t-shirt from our TeePublic store, which includes the Tutter Street Trumpet Company shirt from Muppets Mayhem that I designed, which features the one and only Modest Mouse himself. I want to thank our Tough Pigs Muppet Fan Podcast executive producer, Joe Hennis, for producing the show. I want to thank me for editing the show. I want to thank our pal Will Carroll for designing the show artwork. And I want to thank Santa Hog for bringing me 50 billion clams. Have a really, really happy holiday, happy and healthy new year, and I'll see all of you guys in 2025.
Merry Christmas!
Yay! Sorry, I ruined your podcast.
No, it's okay. I forgive you.
No, we ruined it weeks ago.